Do you fancy yourself as some kind of a gourmet chef? We'd love to hear about it on Soup to Nuts here at Ashland's WACA Channel 8. Please send your recipe to us at P.O. Box 494, Ashland Cable, Ashland 01721, or call us at 881 WACA. We're all starving.
Hi, welcome to Soup to Nuts. I'm Brian Iarussi, along with my father, Oswald Iarussi. Tonight we're going to be cooking meatballs and sauce, and he's going to explain a little bit more in depth what actually we are cooking.
Thank you, Brian, for inviting me again to the Soup to Nuts. It's always a pleasure to be here with you for a number of reasons. One, we get to cook together and enjoy later on in the dining room. And secondly, to get together because we don't see too much of you now that you're on your own, right? We're making polpetti and cavatellis, meatballs with a nice Italian macaroni. Brian will start out by making this sauce and explain a few things to you.
First thing I want to explain is what the type of pan you want to use when you're making a sauce. I want you just to listen to the sound of the pans first. That one's loud. This one's a lot more thicker, so you want to use the thicker pan when you're making sauce, because it has a tendency on the thinner pans, on the type of stove you use, in gas or electric, will heat up real quick and it could burn the sauce or the type of meat that you're going to put in your sauce. So the first thing I'm going to do is add a little olive oil to the pan. And crush a couple garlic cloves in there. And get those on the heat. Just enough to get the garlic moving. You don't want to get it too hot because you don't want to burn. You don't want to burn the garlic. So we're going to get it on there. While that's going to move a little bit, explain. In this bowl here we have two 12-ounce cans of Hunt's tomato paste, and you add 3 cans of water for each can. So we added a total of 6 cans of water into this, and we diluted it in a separate bowl just to show you what we did. But usually with a thick pan we do it all in one pan, but we want to show you if you have a thin pan, you want to do it like this first. So now the garlic's starting to move around in there. So you want to take it off the heat. You don't want to get it too brown. Take it off the heat. I'm going to add this sauce to it. And then we're going to immediately put that back onto the heat to get it start simmering a little, just a little movement, bubbling a little bit. You can stir it. And now I'm going to throw it over to the chef and have him show you what he's making to put in the sauce.
I thought I'd never get back to me the way you were talking there. Meatballs. I have here some ground beef and some ground pork, both very lean. So today I'm going to add a couple eggs. You don't have to beat them, just put them in there. We're going to use our hands later on to mix this. And with that, I'm going to add a little salt and a little pepper and just a little bit of this garlic powder to give a little flavor. Not too much. And Brian can put these away. And we're going to add, to give flavor. At this point, this is where you can create your own meatballs. I'm making a very simple one tonight. I like the cheese. That gives it a nice flavor. And we got some breadcrumbs to hold together. And we'll add something that we did way back when Mother was cooking. to make the meatballs a little more tender, and sometimes during those tough years to make the meatballs, more meatballs, rather than having 10 meatballs with the meat, you'd have maybe, say, 15 or so with this bread I'm going to add. So we get some bread, and make some cold water. Squeeze the water out and add it to that. I'm only going to use 2 slices. And you notice I've taken the top crust off because sometimes if the bread is 3 or 4 days old, the top crust has a tendency to be too tough. When you mix it, you have pieces of the crust showing in the meatballs. It doesn't look good. So 2 slices would be enough for tonight because there's only going to be, I think, 6 of us here tonight for supper. So now we use our hands to mix this. And you keep mixing and mixing and mixing. Like I said, I've talked to people that make meatballs, and they've used more ingredients that I never thought would go with meatballs. For example, mustard, Worcestershire sauce, and the bread that I just soaked in cold water, I could have very well soaked it in milk, some people do, and also you could use some nice wine to soak the bread in to give it the extra flavor. Again, and parsley. There's so many things that you can add to this. I like to make a very simple one because the flavor, my mother always told me, if you want to make a good sauce or good meatballs, the first thing you have to buy is good ingredients. I bought the best of beef, and the pork was very, very lean, just that ground. When I was growing up back in those days, we used to have little corner stores, little butcher shops. And we go in there, and my mother would buy a piece of beef to grind rather. And then in those days, they all had a little meat grinder at home. So they would take the meat, cut it up in pieces, and manually hand grind it up to the consistency they wanted. That way you know when you made a meatball, you had the best of ingredients. When you buy a hamburger in the stores today, by the time we get it, many hands have touched that meat before they package it. And who knows, I don't, what they put in there for the ingredients. We don't know. So that's the mixture. What I'm going to do now, explain to you, as you notice my hands are starting to get a little fatty from the meat. You see that? A little fat. And if I wait just a little more, and when I make my meatballs, if I kept doing this, there'd be a white film of fat because, and Brian can explain that, Brian went to college. Brian, what's the reason why?
Because your temperature of your body, which is 96.8 degrees.
90.6.
And the meat, which comes out of the refrigerator, is probably 40 degrees. So over time, your hand warms and the cold sticks to the heat. So
Right.
what you want to do is show them a little trick that you're going to show them.
So we
Keep
do.
your hand temperature colder so that the meat won't stick.
We try to get our body temperature, by hand temperature, down as close as we can to the 40 degrees of the meat. So we have ice cold water here. Very ice cold water. I soak my hands in there. And I just take a few of these and I start forming these meatballs the size I want. And usually, if it comes out right, you get approximately 8 or so meatballs that size per pound. There might be a little more here tonight, so I just put them in like this. And as you can see, it's a very nice texture, and it's very nice lean meat. The flavor be there because the cheese will give it a flavor. The pork is, why we put pork in here, Brian?
Because the pork gives the flavor to the sauce.
And the body.
The body to the sauce.
Sauce.
Usually I add country style pork to the sauce too, on the bone. But tonight we're not. We're just going to go with the flavor from the meatballs in the sauce. But you can add, like I said, pork, chicken, and meatballs. Usually when I make sauce, put all three in to get the three different flavors involved into it. Also, you can add veal. Some people add veal into the meat, into the mixture of Hamburg pork and a little veal. Would you add another pound of veal or just a half a pound?
Maybe half a pound.
So
We used to do proportionally. Whatever we use for the beef, so use a pound of beef, pound of pork, and a pound of veal. Always proportionally the same. I didn't use the cold water when I just farmed these because I wasn't going to farm. Now I'll start farming them, and that's when I come in with this ice cold water. And what I do is I take two at a time, and I shape them right quickly. Again, two at a time. And I'll shape them again when I put them into the water. This is something my mother taught me when I was attending her cooking classes after school when I was 10, 12 years old. Mandatory. I had to be there while she showed me all these little tricks of hers. There's another trick I'll be showing you in a minute here that she did, and what I do because the reason behind I'll show in a minute. Maybe after I do it, the camera will come down and show you what I'm talking about. And I mean, we get there, Brian. Count them.
11.
11? Just about 8 per pound. Okay, so right now that these are done, put that away for me, Brian. The hand is clean, no fat. Now we have here some boiling water. Now, a lot of the Italians, the older Italians, when they make meatballs, when they get to this stage, they do one of three things, or maybe four things. Some will take the meatballs and bake them in the oven. Some will take them and fry them in a pan with some oil. Some will take them and put them directly into the sauce. I don't like that idea. This is what my mother taught me. You take the meatballs, that on high now?
Yep.
And you put them in boiling water. And I'll show you why at the end, why I do this. You know, we want our bodies to not eat all that so-called cholesterol and fat, all those things that are bad for us. When my mother passed away at almost 9 years old, her arteries was as clear, they said, as a 40-year-old woman. Because of doing something like this, she was very smart. A lot of wisdom, a lot of common sense. And that's all it takes today. When you're cooking, is a little common sense. So I get these in there. And they'll fit because if they don't, we just have to make room for them. 5 more. When this comes to a boil, this can have to boil for about 5 minutes. Sometimes a little longer, depending. And once I get these done, and once this gets back to a boil, like I said, it'll take about 5 minutes. I'll have time to take this away. I have time to tell a story because a lot of people that watch the program say they love watching the program, they love the cooking, but they like some of those stories of mine. Get that small tablespoon. I know it's right here.
One other thing on the sauce is we used, like I said, Hunt's paste. We just did that for the speed of it. We usually use whole tomatoes and we grind them in a food processor to the thickness that we want. You can vary your sauce if you want it chunky, if you want it just a little, I like it with a little chunk into it, but for the show we just did the paste because it's quicker and easier.
Okay, we got no time. I can tell you, it'll take about another minute or so before it starts to boil. Like I said, we have to boil that for about 5 minutes. My mother lived to be almost 90 years old. The last 2 years of her life, she spent at a nursing home. And that's another story I'll tell maybe at another show. But I used to visit her I visit quite often during the week. Turn it down, Brian. I visit her quite often during the week, and on Sunday it was a ritual to, after Mass, to go down and spend an hour or so with her and bring her a cup of coffee and a donut. She used to love a cup of coffee and a donut. So on one of those occasions on a Sunday, I told her about the new game they just started in Massachusetts. It was the $1 million lottery. It just started, and in those days you only had I think it was from 1 to 30 or 1 to 32. Now the numbers have gone up to 1 to 40 or something like that. So there's less chance to win now. There was more chance back then because there was less numbers to choose. So I explained to her that the lottery was just started and you had a chance to win $1 million. So all you have to do, Ma, is to pick 6 numbers from 1 to 32. And, you know, having a tough life and growing up, you know, having hard work, she was, you know, didn't like the idea of giving money away. So I said, Ma, it's only $1 and you have a chance to win $1 million. So all right, she said, I play one time. But if I don't win, I don't play no more. All right, I'll play one time. So forget, 1 to 32. She said, all right, scrive il numero. Write the numbers down. So she thought for a while, and she said, all right, the first number, she said, I want number 6. Then she thought, I want number 8. I want number 4. So I wrote it down, 6, 8, 4. Now she had 3 more numbers to choose. All right, wait a minute. She thought for a while. She said, let me see. Now she says, I want 7, 5, and 9. 5, 7, 5, and 9. So I put that down and said, pretty much, Ma, what you want is 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9? No. I want 6, 4, 8. I want 7, 5, and 9. But much the same thing. No, if you don't play the way I play, I don't want to play at all. All right, I'll play 6, 4, 8, 7, 5, 9. And myself, I'm known as only 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I played it. Won't you know, that following week when I went to visit her, I had money in my hand. I couldn't believe it. She had gotten 4 right. She had gotten 5 right. She had gotten 6 right. She had gotten 7 right. 8 right, and she missed the 9 by 1 digit. So I went in there that Sunday morning with 3 cups of coffee and a dozen of donuts. And then when I walked in, I said, did I win? You won. I said, but you don't make $1 million, but you got a lot of money. That's good. She says, you keep the money and you buy yourself a television, take a trip, do what you want. I don't need the money here. You want to play again? I think I'll play one more time. But if I lose, no play no more. All right, she says, scrive il numero. So I get the pad of paper out again, and I put the number. She says, he says, I think I'll change a little bit this time. I said, good. You go 1 to 32, change. All right. So she said, I want 8, 4, 6. Here we go again. Then I want 9, 5, and 7. See, I change. So I said to myself, it's still 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I played it again, come back the following week, and she never played again. Isn't that beautiful? Just the way those 89-year-old Italian woman does not understand the whole thing about numbers, but she did get 5 out of 6, almost a millionaire. What we got here? I forgot about these. See what happened when we were talking?
Yeah.
Oh, it's not boiling yet. We got about 5 minutes. You can cut back. You got 20 minutes. Let me cut back and we'll show them when we get this boiling.
Yeah, we'll take a break now, and when we come back, we'll show you
How to incorporate it.
how we incorporate the meatballs into the sauce, and we'll start the pasta. We'll be right back.
Discover Ashland's own Channel 8, WACA-TV. As your local cable access station, we produce programs for and about Ashland. Young and old alike, volunteers from our town work together to produce programs that cannot be seen anywhere else on television. Our brand new studio is located at Ashland High School on West Union Street. The heart of our studio operation is here in the control room, where programs come to life. Special audio and video equipment is used by volunteers who've learned to operate the equipment by the Channel 8 staff. The studio is where many of our programs are videotaped. Here you can learn how to operate a television camera, learn the art of lighting, or even become the star of your own program. The editing suite is where you put all the pieces of your program together. It's like building a video puzzle. You can add a special effect, music, words, and graphics. In addition to video production, there are many other ways to get involved in Ashland's Channel 8. You can help at one of our community events, organize information for our community bulletin board, or help with work in our office. A fun and easy new adventure is waiting for you, and we're just around the corner. Stop by and visit. Take a tour of our new studio in person. For more information, call 881-WACA.
Right now, we're just about ready to incorporate everything. My father's going to explain to you what he did with the meatballs.
Remember when I boiled those meatballs before? I want the camera to see what all this, we call it froth. That, if I didn't boil them, would have been in the sauce. Now the sauce, nice and, you see that? You zoom in on that? It's the way point. Get rid of that fat-filled. All right, so the sauce is done. Another thing we do with the sauce at the end is to put a little cheese in there. Again, that gives it the body we need to adhere to the macaroni, to the pasta, or the spaghetti, whatever. Nice and clear. We're going to have a salad with our meal. All I have is some nice fresh green leaf lettuce, oil and vinegar, and I have some Kalamata olives. There's a seed in there, but it's a unique flavor. It goes very nice with the salad and with the meatball and the pasta. I'm going to put some of this sauce in here now. Always put sauce on your platter before you put your spaghetti or macaroni or whatever. You notice how nice that is now? It's not watery like you get in a jar sometimes. It's nice texture. Those 2 cans of paste made all this. It gives you equivalent of maybe, I'd say equivalent of over 3 containers that you would buy in a store, a jar, 26-ounce jar. All right, Brian, make sure it's strained good. In the pan. And these are the cavatellis. These are very nice. And we add some more sauce to that. We used to make these when my mother and I, when I was being taught all these different recipes. Flour, eggs, and this one here has some ricotta in it. So it's a nice change from the regular macaroni and spaghetti and all the other different kind of pastas we have. A little change, a little different. I think we're going to enjoy this tonight. Now we have some of these meatballs. Actually, good sized meatballs. the key is to have everything ready when you go to cook and use a lot of common sense. That's all it takes when you're cooking. And also, what you got to do is make trial and error. Make a lot of mistakes, and that's how you learn, by make mistakes. I don't measure. I go by feel. And if you do a lot of cooking, and if you keep experimenting and trying, you'll find after a while you don't need to measure. You can tell by your feeling, by yourself, if it's going to be right. And that look nice to you? I think we need one meatball in the middle, Brian, to make it. You have the parsley, or did you bring parsley tonight?
No parsley.
Well, we're going to have to just put a little more cheese on it, so.
Cheese on the salad, too.
Oh, and a little cheese here. And sometimes I put a little breadcrumbs on there, too. Fresh ground breadcrumbs. And we have a loaf of bread tonight that we have from, again, one of the best baker shops in the area, Premier Baker. Nice French stick will go along nicely with this. And I'm sure we'll have some wine at the table. And we'll have Barbra and Stacy and Paul and Brian and I will enjoy the meal and we'll have a little chit-chat. And Stacy Mignani, isn't it? Yeah. Your father does a show on TV with David Iarussi. That's your father? Yeah. Oh, there. Okay. Okay, that's the show, Brian?
That's the show. I'd like to thank my father for coming on, thank all the crew for filming, and we'll see you next time on Soup to Nuts.
Do you fancy yourself as some kind of a gourmet chef? We'd love to hear about it on Soup to Nuts here at Ashland's WACA Channel 8. Please send your recipe to us at P.O. Box 494, Ashland Cable, Ashland 01721. Or call us at 881-WACA. We're all starving and we're dying to hear your recipe.
There is a house 200 years old atop a hill in Boston. Its cornerstone was set by Paul Revere and Samuel Adams. The Massachusetts State House.
I'm State Representative John Stefanini, urging all the citizens of the Metro West to join me in this bicentennial celebration. Tour this historic symbol of self-governance and discover an American treasure, this great house.
Standing prominently on the Boston skyline for the past 200 years, this national landmark has been described as the handsomest public building in America. The cornerstone was set by Paul Revere and Governor Samuel Adams on the 4th of July, 1795. The building, of course, is our very own Massachusetts State House. Come visit this historic symbol of democracy and discover a genuine American treasure, this great house.
3, 2, 1. You're watching WACA. That's WACA-TV.
My name is Ozzie. This is one of the things I learned at baby camp. How to use cameras and use the things that go in your head.
You're watching WACA.